So we are going to ask the mayor to come and do a welcome to welcome you guys in. So let's give her a hand.
Well, thank you. I'm learning a lot about what this is today because I was just asked a couple of weeks ago about what I come say welcome to this group. I didn't have a clue what the group was about, but I am honored to meet and shake everybody's hand this morning. If you need anything in McGehee, Arkansas, we are an agricultural area just like everybody else in the Delta, and we know how important land is around this our area. So I'm very involved with a lot of farmers, a lot of landowners, including myself, and I wish you the best in helping whoever needs help that you can work with. I'm very familiar with the USDA. I do a lot of grants, have done a lot of grants through USDA and rural development. I've been the mayor of McGehee for 10 years. I'm going into my 11th. I'm in the third term. So I've got 2 more years left in my third term. So they've helped me out quite a bit. And I know you have a lot of good information to relate to everybody. So good luck. And if you need anything, please let me know. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor City of McGehee. Next, we're going to have an opening. We're going to keep it moving. By Larry Lofton.
Everyone, I want to thank Mayor Leon for his welcome that he stepped out. I would like to thank you all for attending this morning. Thank for those that are online. And the purpose of this meeting is to bring you information, programs, and services that are offered through Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation, as well as the United States Department of Agriculture. Our intention is to make sure that all who are interested in learning about the programs and services can get the information that they require. They can get up-to-date information, and they can get their questions and concerns answered. We go to many different areas in the 42 counties of Arkansas that we work in, and we set up these types of meetings. And the purpose is to make sure that everything gets spread throughout the communities that need it the most. We know that a lot of our communities, a lot of the citizens, a lot of the farmers, a lot of the new farmers are not getting the information that are required. Because quite often when programs end, that's when we hear from people who want to participate in the program, but were not aware of the programs. But for some reason, when things end, people seem to learn about it. So this type of meeting is to make sure that we can get ahead of that so that we don't have to try to explain to folks that deadlines are over. You have to wait maybe to the next cycle or the next year or a new program to come out. The United States Department of Agriculture, National Resource, or USDA, we call it, Natural Resource Conservation Service, we call it NRCS, will provide you with the farm program information, informational land conservation information that's important to the farmers. The Farm Service Agency, we refer to as FSA, as well as farm loans. That's the initial part where we should start when you're a beginning farmer. If you don't have a farm number, if you don't know what to do with your property, you're just starting out, that should be the starting point, because that farm number, that land tract number is essential in providing you with the information and providing with the programs and services that USDA offers. Without that number, you really can't access those programs. So the first part is to go to FSA, get to know your FSA staff, get to know your NRCS staff. You go in and talk to these folks, I guarantee you that you're going to get a wealth of information. You're going to get all of your questions answered. And you're gonna find out what you need to know to make your business profitable, make your farm profitable, to take advantage of the programs that are available. And we also have rural development, RD, it's often referred to as rural development, is concerned with housing. And in that, there are programs for the elderly, there are requirements, age requirements, there's also income requirements. There are grants and loans that can help improve the quality of living in homes. There are also programs available for the business community through rural development, as well as for the municipalities. There are programs that can help build community centers, for example, fire trucks, police cars, things of that nature. So all of these personnel, these agents are available here today to cover what I have mentioned and more. So please, people that are online, if they have questions, please get them in. And the other thing I would like to talk about just briefly is heirs property. A lot of us heirs property owners have been heirs property owners, but we know someone who is heirs property owners. And Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation, we work with folks the best we can to help understand the importance of heirs property, to understand how to access services for heirs property. And I can say that the 2018 Farm Bill has aided in this effort by changing the restrictions on heirs property. In the past, if you were heirs property owner, it was very difficult to obtain a farm. That's been made a bit easier now. And that should help a lot of folks, and we know it's already helped a lot of people. And there are folks here that can address what's required if you're an heirs property owner to be able to obtain your FSA number, your farm number. There's also a relending program that's part of the 2018 Farm Bill. The relending program aids heirs property owners by providing loans, not grants, but loans, so that they can have the funds that they need to help resolve some of the heirs property issues. You can, for example, if you have heirs property owners, some members of your family who are legitimate owner, but who doesn't care about the land, they can sell it. And you can borrow money to buy them out. You can also use the money to pay for legal fees to, because at some point you're most likely going to need a lawyer to help resolve the issue, to try to clear the title. But thankfully, because of the Farm Bill, heirs property owners can access USDA services now. And with that, I'm going to end. Turn it back over to the hand of my Ms. Williams. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Next, we are going to go on into the program, and Alice, I don't know whether I said that or not, but I am Jane Williams, and I will be your moderator for today. We're going to start with natural resource conservation services with Calicia Hawkins, forgive me, district conservation, Chandler Niles, soil conservationists. So we're going to start with them. And now, for those that's online, then why we're here and who to you to notify or whatever programs that you are seeking to find out what to do with your land, as Ms. Lofton briefed you on. So we're going to start with EQIP, Conservation Stewardship, CSP, and Conservation's easement. All right. Start first. Here.
Okay, I'm Felicia Hawkins, the DC down, the District Conservation down in Monticello. And we offer a variety of programs. We offer EQUIP, we offer CSP, CRP. I'm getting off the acronyms.
Okay.
Conservation Reserve Program, Conservation Stewardship Program, and our Environmental Qualities Program. So the difference between the programs are, if you're signing up for the Environmental Incentives Program, which is EQUIP, this mainly for your improvements to address your resource concerns. So if you're having, let me see, what's the issue, form of issue? Off the top of your head. You need pipelines. That's the program you get into fund your pipelines. We're a financial assistance program. If you're getting into your CSP, which is your conservation stewardship program, we consider it as your rewards program, where you're addressing resource concerns as well as enhancing the land that you are already owning. USDA now is kind of transitioning into urban farming. So that's more so of your hot tunnels, those long plastic buildings you are seeing put up everywhere now. And I highly recommend those if you're not trying to farm on a large scale and you just want to get your feet in the door or just learn about agriculture or learning how to provide healthier foods for your families. I highly recommend the urban farming that we're now starting to see a lot of. We also have the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. That's bringing in more chances for urban farmers to receive financial assistance from us. John? Yes. Okay, so more emphasis on our EQUIP program. That's for, we offer mulching, just practices in general. So we offer mulching, cover crops for the winter, and those cover crops can be your turnip greens, which is stuff that you're already using now or growing. I think that's all I have. As far as the programs, so we have CSP, EQUIP, urban farming, the IRA funds. The first step is, our application deadline, if you want to get in the door for this fiscal year, is tomorrow. So I just suggest going down to your local office and putting in the application. That way you can be considered and then you can actually have a one-on-one experience with your office and then you guide you in the direction that you need to go in. If you don't have any understanding of our program, I highly suggest going and just sitting down talking to someone, and we print out a map and show you exactly what you need help with. We're here to help you, and our door is always open.
Is that deadline for specific programs or for all the programs?
All programs. So it'll be your EQUIP, your CSP, your urban ag. The deadline for that is tomorrow. But like I said, just go down there, put your name on the application to get your foot in the door, whether you want to enroll or not. I would highly suggest, because you never know if you want to. You might have to change your heart in 2 months and say you want to actually form. So go down there and have a one-on-one.
So does it have to be by county? You have to go to the county that you live in to do it? And can you not do it online or call?
You can call your local office. Because we accept applications through phone calls, email, or in person. So, and you don't have to live in a county where your land is. You can live in Texas and have land in Arkansas and still enroll in our programs in Arkansas.
If an applicant submits tomorrow's deadline, what would be the next cycle for applications?
Next year, in
January.
November. So it'll be another 365 days. Unless we come out with other sub-programs, but it'll be next fall.
Excuse me, on that tunnel farming and I applied for it last year.
Yes.
And I filed an application and applied for it last year in DC County, with the USD office in McGehee. I haven't heard anything from it. I went in there like 3 or 4 times and they had not contacted me back. That was last year. I went in 3 or 4 times this year And I haven't heard anything from them. They supposed to be coming and checking on my site for the telephone, and nobody never showed up. Nobody called me, I haven't got anything from them. When I went out and talked to them, they told me that I wouldn't go get nothing in the mail, and wasn't nobody gonna call me. She said the funds had run out, that was last year, but I suppose they got funded this year. But I still haven't heard anything from them. That's at the USDA office in DeShay County. Right out there by the back.
Yes, sir. I would suggest maybe submit another application and then maybe start the process over, or
Can you not look into it?
It's all,
If he gave you your name,
it's a ranked process, so nothing is guaranteed. So everything is ranked and there's no if, ands, buts about it. There's no way to, find somebody else over this person. The system ranks everybody based off the land, based off what you're trying to do. So we have no idea. We're not supposed to know how that ranking process works, but if you did get picked up this year, just throw your application over into next year. And just,
Yeah, but I suppose we got picked up this year, cause I filed last year.
right,
They said I would get picked up this year when the next fund coming in, but I didn't.
right. Yes, like I said, it's ranking process and there's no guarantee to it. So the best thing to do is just apply the following year and try to roll it over, and it's like the lottery system, so.
and also last year, applications were funded based off of when they were submitted. It was on we were on a limited funds and we were on a first come, first served, so it depends on how it was submitted to the office too.
Yeah, I understand that I'm saying, they told me I would get funded this year. Cause I applied last year. And they said the fund ran out. So I supposed to be on the list of getting funded this year.
We have not started selections for this year. We have not started the selections this year. We're just submitting applications right now. So when they open it back up, we're hoping that you'll be the first on the list for it.
I qualified, cause that was last year.
You have to get ranked again every year. So you didn't make it in last year due to the funds. We use that same application to rank it again this year. And we go off the ranking scores, the highest to lowest.
So you still don't notify them at all?
If they get picked up, they'll receive a phone call, letter in the mail, they'll get something from us. If they get.
And if you didn't get picked up, you should have gotten a deferral letter in the mail.
No, I didn't get nothing. When I went out to when I went out to the USDA office and McGehee and talked to the people down there was over there, I asked them, but they gonna call me. They told me no. I asked them, was I gonna get something in the mail? She said no. I said, well, how would I know? Then don't nobody contact me. That's what I was told in the USDA office, here in McGehee. Now, the way the process goes, I can't tell you. I'm gonna tell you what they told me when I went to the office.
Okay, I will get with you once we dismiss here and we'll see what we can do.
Get the location, phone numbers, and they will get your, somebody to contact you, right?
Yes, okay.
You wanna come? Ready for you? She covered with your okay. All right. But thank you. Is there any questions online? Okay, great. Thank you. Next we're gonna, move to Farm Service Agency for representatives, Crystal Kimball, County Executive Director, and Danny Hoops of Farm Loan Programs, and Crystal's gonna cover farm programs, got to say. Let's give her a hand as she comes. Thank you.
I'm Krista Kimball. I work down here at the McGehee USDA Service Center in the Farm Service Agency, and I'm the county executive director there. I want to talk to you just a little bit about air property and CRP, and mainly with air property, what I want to cover is how to get that farm number that they've told y'all about. You've got to have a farm and a tract number to apply for any program within USDA. And as I said earlier, they have made it easier for heirs to get farm numbers now. And basically, an heir that's a legal heir, they can provide us with a deed if they have a deed. If they don't, more than likely you won't have a deed because it may still be in grandpa's name or mom and dad's name. We can take a will if they have a will. We can take a real estate tax bill or assessment. Affidavit of ownership. That's something that we use a lot. The heirs can get together. They can come up with an affidavit, have that file that says that these people are the actual heirs on the farm, and we can use that to set up the farm. We can get a description of the land, and that would be on your real estate tax bills. We'll use that description. We'll go in on our maps. We can plot it off. I've used the assessor office website a lot because they will have these farms already drawn off on the map, how the property should be laid out. And that way I can look at that and kind of get your farm drawn off. Now, we can go all the way down to the 10th of an acre. You may not even be that much land, but we could still get a farm number for that. That farm number is going to work for your urban farming. If you're doing any of these high tunnels, I know the NRCS requires a farm number. You may have some, a little bit of land in the backyard, as we want to call it, that if it's enough there, a 10th of an acre, we can draw that off and give that a farm and a tract number. If you own land, get a copy of your deed, bring that in to me, because I'm usually the one that's gonna look in the computer, make sure we got you in the computer. If you're not in the computer, I'm gonna get your name, your address, social security number, any kind of communication information I can get from you to get that farm number. When we set up a farm and tract number, we always give you a copy of your map, a copy of that farm data record, and it'll have a letter with it that tells you what your new farm number and tract number is. So you can use that with NRCS and the Farm Service Agency for any programs that we have. CRP, that's Conservation Reserve Program, and that's in this county, in Deshae County, that's mainly planting trees for conservation purposes, for erosion purposes. NRCS is our technical service provider, so they actually go out and they look at your land and they see what the conditions are. If it needs trees planted along maybe a stream bank or something like that to keep it from eroding off into your farmland, they can evaluate that. Right now, we don't have a sign up going on for it because we're waiting for a new farm bill. We're at the end of the farm bill, we're waiting for a new one. So we don't have a lot of details on what a new farm bill will entail for the Conservation Reserve Program. But the main thing is, if you have land and you don't have a farm number, you need to come in and see me in Farm Service Agency and bring whatever information you have. If you don't have a deed, land description, if you're an heir, get that affidavit of ownership. Anything like that's going to be helpful to get you a farm and tract number. Urban farming is not something that we handle in Deshae County. We don't actually have any real programs for urban farming right now in Farm Service Agency, but Pulaski County is they have a whole new agency there, a whole new office for urban farming. So if anybody has questions or needs information, I have phone numbers and contact people that maybe you can talk to someone in that office that can help guide you on what different things you might need for urban farming. Again, like I said, farm number and tract number is very important. It's very easy. It doesn't take long. I didn't take more than 3 days usually. Right now we're not busy, so Usually when somebody comes in with their documentation, I can get you a farm number set up the same day normally, if not within the next 2 days anyway. It's not a difficult process, and we welcome anybody that wants to come in, even if it's just, you just want the farm number, we will gladly help you get a farm number set up and established. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Crystal. Next, we're gonna have District Director Danny Hoods, Farm Loan Manager, Farm Loan Broker.
Thank you. My name is Danny Boots. I am the district director for District 5, which includes Shea County. I help with counties from basically across county down through Ashley County. I do skip Lee Phillips, but I have 8 offices and 9 counties in this part of the state. And like I said, it goes across Crittenden and St. Francis. Just real quick, I'll touch on the urban ag. I think a little bit of this sometimes have a little bit of confusion on when it comes to urban ag, and we're thinking that it's a specific program whenever with FSA or the Farm Service Agency, it's not. We have programs that are available to anyone. But now that you were looking at small scale farms, in the past, we were looking at like a larger farm ground, and it would make it difficult to have a program that was beneficial to a small scale operation that you may find in the backyard or with a high tunnel. And so we were trying to basically change our minds, said that some of the programs that we have available already what could potentially be somewhat beneficial to the smaller scale operations that you find with your urban ag, and that would be like our non-insured crop program, where since that crop's not going to be insured through local means, that the FSA couldn't help insure the crops. But again, just keep in mind we're talking about a small scale, so may not. The insurance may not pay the amount of money that you're hoping for whenever talking about a few plants, because we have run into that where we only had 10 or 15 plants, and then it was damaged, and person wasn't satisfied with the amount of payment that they received. But those programs are available. Also, we are able to certify our crops down to basically plant by plant. So before we were doing a tenth of an acre, now we've adjusted that to be able to report that crop plant by plant in those small urban size areas. So to kind of circle back around to the farm loans, FSA does offer farm loans for several different things that's related to growing your farming business. Some of it is helping establish a new farm operation. Also, looking at helping if you in an emergency situation, maybe you had a bad year, you need a loan to maybe pay some of the carryover that you had from a hard year like we had in 2024. We have emergency loans available. We have loans available to purchase real estate, and of course loans to buy maybe equipment or livestock or things of that nature that you may need to grow your business or establish a business. And of course, we have annual operating loans that would allow individuals to pay the crop, to get the crops in and out, or to get through the year with your livestock. We also offer what we call micro loans. And a micro loan is usually for the same type of purposes, but it's a lot less amount. Because it's such a less amount, $50,000, there's a lot less paperwork. And so that becomes an option for people who are interested in doing loans, but maybe don't want to do as much paperwork or need to meet as many eligibility requirements. So micro loans it kind of lowers the thresholds on some of the eligibility requirements that we have as far as management and experiences and stuff of that nature. And it could, make it a little bit easier to get that operation started, especially if it's an urban ag type operation. I guess we would want to talk a little bit about eligibility requirements for our loans. If you're interested in that, the eligibility requirements are going to be different each type. It becomes very difficult for us without an application to tell you specifically, are you eligible for a loan? Whenever I don't have any of the documents out there, because I don't, without it in writing in front of me or in front of your loan official, it's next to impossible to say if you would qualify or not. But we can give general guidelines of what our written regulations into what our requirements are. And for our, just our, what we call an annual operating loan, that would be in the Delta area here, get your crops in and out with whatever crops that is. It's fairly easy. You'll have these two cash flow, and what that means is that you have to generate enough income off of that crop to pay the loan back, and plus any other debts that are maybe associated with that farm operation. Some other requirements that we're looking at is, if you've got some type of experience in that farming operation and you've got good credit history, if you've had a debt to the government, there are still a possibility. Again, it's hard to say if a person qualifies or not without looking at an application. There's still a possibility that a person could qualify for an annual operating loan with you've had one loss to the government. We go into our equipment loans and over those. Well, let me back up. The annual operating loan you will repay usually at the end of that production cycle. There are equipment loans, and we look at 7 years up front. Since September of this year, we've enhanced our farm programs and repayments for those type of loans. We've opened up different options, and some of the options on the repayment could potentially be interest only for the first couple of years, unequal payments, where maybe the first payment or two is a little bit smaller than the other payments, which you make up for it on the back end, right? So you have a smaller payment the first couple of years, and then a larger payment the last 3 or 4 years. And it's different options that way to make it easier to get your to grow your operation. The idea behind it is that those first couple of years, if you do it, for example, interest only, that you'll have money to be a profit margin there that you can set aside for furthering your education, retirement, or future capital expenses. So you say, I want to buy an additional tractor out of pocket. I need to save this much money for 3 years. And so we kind of work with you now. And that began in September this year for the new loans. So those are some options whenever it comes to what FSA would call a term loan. It's out over up to 7 years. You can request fewer years if you want to get your loan paid back quicker. But we're going to look at 7 years from day one. And also we now have basically a spreadsheet that will be completed and presented to you and give you, several different options on how to repay us. And then you select the one that you want, if it's the interest or balloon payments. And there's going to be different requirements with those. And so the security requirement for that loan is, of course, a minimum of 100%. So if you're buying a tractor, that tractor is our security, but we go up to 125% now. Up until September this year, our rules was to have 150% security. And that put an undue burden on our producers who are, in debt and trying to maximize any equity that they have. And we've got to wait on everything out there. So now we can look at doing 125%. And another really great change is with that 125%, we no longer have to have a personal residence to make up that difference between 100 going up to 125% before. If some of you had the experience up until September, if you didn't have 150% security or equity in your hard security there, or hard, like your equipment, and we made a loan and you had a personal residence, we would require a loan on that personal residence to make up from 100 to 150%. And that's not great for homeowners. And so now with the new rule changes of any loans that we receive now, we don't necessarily have to take that. Of course, there are some caveats or some times when that may not be possible, but for the most part, that's going to be a great change that we have there. Also, with our farm ownership, going right into that, that's going to be purchasing a farm. It's got the same type of requirements, but there's one additional requirement, which would be, or another additional requirement, which would be 3 years of experience in farming operation already. But there are ways to meet up to two of those years through education or other type of, if you're a veteran, there's some different ways to kind of meet that 3 years. And so that's why I say, like in the beginning, it's really hard for me to tell you if you qualify just in the conversation without seeing that application, because I'm going to need to be looking at what kind of educational background, what type of previous experience you have, military veteran, and all of these things are play a part into what can we qualify for example, in this farm ownership loan. With that, I mean, that's just a really quick overview with the farm loans and what FSA does in those situations. And I would be glad to answer any questions or anything like that. If anybody has anything they want to ask. Yes, sir.
Once you set up a repayment plan, and let's say after a year into it, the borrower decides that that's not a good plan for him, can you change it? Is it flexible enough to change it?
Well, if it's not a good plan, that's not really been discussed, but if you come, say a distressed producer, or it doesn't look like you're going to be able to make those payments as they're set up, then at that point, then we would be looking at different options for you. We do have a one-time set aside also of debt, even if you're a distressed producer. And that's got like a 0.125% interest added onto it, and it would be paid at the end of the loan. But also we would definitely look at what we call rescheduling, or looking at different opportunities to change up that payment structure to make it a little bit easier for someone to make those payments. So yes, there would be options if after that first year or 2 years, you decide this isn't really the plan that this isn't been beneficial to me and helping me, then what can we do to help alleviate that? Now, if it's like an interest only, it's not going to get any lower than interest only, right? So if you decide after that first year you do the interest only, well, this, I think I'd rather get out of it faster. I chose this program. Then you always have an opportunity to make an additional payment, and then the next year you wouldn't have to worry about it if it wasn't there. But if that's the route you go, there's no way to lower that anymore. But if you chose to do 5 years of payments, and then after the first year you realize that that's a lot harder to come by than what you thought it was, then you're what we consider a distressed producer. At that point, we would look at extending those terms for what can we do to make it easier for you to make those payments be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Danny, and it's Crystal for Farm Service Agency, Farm Programs, and Farm Service Agency Farm Loan Program. Next, we're going to have rural development.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marissa Harris from USDA Rural Development. And this is Arlene Campbell. So we're going to kind of partner together. Arlene is a new specialist and getting into the outreach field. So she's going to talk about our single family housing repair loans and grants.
Good afternoon to all. I'm gonna speak on single family housing repair loans and grants for 504, section 504 program. And the section 504 repair program is provide loans for a very low income homeowners for repair and improve modernizing their home. And that helps for remove the health and safety of a dwelling. And who could apply for this is you have to occupy the dwelling and be unable to obtain affordable credit areas elsewhere. And a family within the very low limit. And grants, 504 repair programs for 65 or older, you can get a grant for that program to repair, they help to save health and safety of the dwelling. And who's what is eligible area? The property must be located in the eligible rural area. And like McGehee, it is rural. And if you need some repairs to remove the health and safety, like bus ramp, a wheelchair ramp, remove damage of the floors and windows, that's part of the repair program for the 504. And how the funds be used, loans can be used to repair and modernize the home and remove the health and safety of the dwelling. Grants must be used to remove the health and safety of the dwelling also. And how much money can you get? A maximum, if you have to get a loan and grant, you can do a combination. And it's gonna based on your income and show that you can't repay back a grant, then you can qualify for a loan if you need the loan and grant to repair your home. And the maximum loan amount is $40,000. And the maximum grant amount now has changed to $10,000. It used to be $7,500, and now it's $10,000. And you can get a combination, if you're eligible, you can get a combination of $50,000 consistent to repair your home. And what is the terms of the loan? The loan for repayment over 20 years, you have 20 years to pay back the loan, and it's a 1% interest rate. And if you go over 25,000 to get repairs, you have to get title work for that. You have to find a title company and go close the loan to a title company. And a grant is a lifetime limit of $10,000. You only get one grant per household if you're 62 or older. And you don't have to repay the grant back. So the grant is money that you can get to repair the property. And you must stay in that property more than 3 years, but you don't have to pay the grant back. If you leave the house before, then you have to pay all the $10,000 back. So if they're allowed to apply, you can apply anytime. We accept application year round. And now the 504 have a pre-qualification. You can pre-qual before you fill out the full application, you can try to pre-qual, and that will take you through to see if you're eligible for the program now. They offer a pre-qualification, so you want to stay on the program for a year, and then after a year you realize I didn't get that grant. So now they're trying to pre-qual, so you can stop you from waiting for so long. And how long the application takes. Approval time depends on funding availability in our area. And you can talk to someone in the office and they'll let you know how long the application might take. And how could you get started? You can contact USDA Home Office, And a loan special, anyone who has a phone, you can just let them know you want an application, and they'll give you an application, and say talk to a specialist. But you don't have to talk to a specialist to get an application mailed to you. And if you have any problems working on the application, you can call our office and we'll work through with you on the application. Because it's a lengthy application, a lot of people see it and realize it's too long or get kind of frustrated. So just call our office and we'll walk you through page by page to help you out. We can't write on the application, but we will work on helping you out. If anyone have any questions,
Y'all have been loan for churches, anything like that?
loan for churches, we do repair loans for homes only, and that's part of the community facility side of the churches.
Ma'am, I did that before, about 2 or 3 years ago, when at home or mental supplement. I filled it out twice, 2 years in a row, and they keep telling me they didn't have no fun. And they keep throwing me off, you know, they kept throwing me off. And I wanted to work on my house.
So now our office have done centralized. So if you fill out an application, you don't just have to go straight through on the cell, you can fill out an application and someone else in the area might pick up your application.
Right.
So you just give me your name and I can check, but you'll still have to start all over and fill in your application. And maybe you might left something off.
Yeah, but see, but there's something one, another one. But my wife and I said, well, we done 2 of them already. I got a whole application at home now. I just left it alone because we haven't filled out 2, and they kept on doing it also. You know, I don't know what the problem was. So one time they told me I was late to get it in, but I brought it up. I carried it over there and the doctor said, bring it over here today. Today is the last day. So I put it there, but when the office wasn't open, she said, drop it in the door. I dropped it, slided it on the door, and I still didn't get no response.
Just go ahead and if you would complete a new application to go ahead and get started. At this time, of course, our fiscal year ended on September 30th. And so as everyone else stated, we are waiting for bills to be passed or continuing resolutions. So just go ahead and complete the application because no matter what, we still take them and we work them up to a certain point. So go ahead and redo it. We've gone through a lot of changes, short staff, we're doing development. So just complete another application.
Okay.
And this time it really, like you said, everything has kind of been centralized because there are so few people in individual offices. Like we don't have offices in every county anymore. So if you go ahead and your wife will do another one, and then it's processed. We have processors, we now have underwriters, and we have closers. So it should just go a little smoother, but you will probably get a letter saying that we don't have funds right now, but that application is still active. It will still be active.
Okay, but in case you don't have fun, then you, but unless you come around, I still got to fill another application.
No, that application stays active.
Stay active. Okay.
Now, what she would have to do, like she told you, you would give her your name and number. She can check and see if the application that you all still.
Yeah, right.
But previously is still active.
Right.
I can see what you missed.
Okay.
And then I can walk you through on what you need to probably provide.
Okay. All right.
Because now we try to make sure you have all your documents before, like a bid from a licensed contractor.
Right.
That's what a lot of things, that's what gets a lot of applicants. They don't have the bid from a licensed contractor. And you have that, I try to make sure you have everything up front before I submit your application to a submission box.
Right, and then of course I had a bid and a license contract. I did all that on the application, you know.
Well, just give me your information and I'll check it out, but this time, if you provide an application, send it to my office, I'll make sure you got everything. To our office, I'll give you all my information.
Okay.
And I'll make sure you have everything and make sure everything is answered, the questions are answered, and I'll put in a submission box for you.
Okay.
Because they will work it up and get back with you.
Okay, now it's good. Do y'all do with rental property?
No, we don't repair any rental property and we don't repair any aircraft.
Okay.
The house, the land and the house must be in your name.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
You must be living in the house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to be living in the house.
Brings a question regarding, excuse me, errors. What's the procedure if an heir is living in a property,
What they,
but only one is living on the property, can they access any of the programs or services?
if you are if it's an air property and you're trying to get some repairs, and there's any siblings around, I mean, like brothers and sisters, they had brothers and sisters, if they could sign off and say they waive their rights for their property, then you can take the air property off and put it in their name. The deed have to be in their name, do a deed conveyal and have it put in their name, and then you come to our program and let us know that your taxes, she would say, like your name, like John Doe tax, have John Doe name, insurance, and have to put the insurance on it, that your name is all on that. And then you can start your application process. It's weird, and, yeah,
So they
their
would have-
property's out
They basically have to transfer the property to one owner.
to one owner, the person that's trying to get the repair.
So they can't, there's no way that heirs could agree to something,
'Cause-
there's no,
Like if you repair the property, right? And your sister see how good the house might look, she might say, I want it. And then you heirs are fighting, and then y'all call us and we'll be able to try to put us in the middle, so that's why you try not to repair every property. Cause some siblings do come back and want that property. So the best thing to do is get it put in her name and everything.
In the interest of the government, it has to be in one person's name, one homeowner's name. Where about that application?
Cut back an acre out for the house, where the house sitting there, give it to the city.
Yes.
Connect it to the rest of it.
Yes,
Cause that's where you come in with a survey.
you can deed that portion.
Leave an acre to the house. Then they,
Yes.
okay.
Cause we have, certain applicants apply for a loan or grant, but they own the home, but don't own the land. And you have to own the land in the home for us to give you some assistance.
So y'all do reconstruction, program.
What do you mean by reconstruction?
Reconstruction, make people own a house and tear down and build another one.
Well, we don't call it reconstruction. At that time, you wouldn't be under the 504 repair program. At that time, you would be under our 502 direct program, which I will talk about. And that's what lets you construct a new home. You wouldn't be under a repair program anymore.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this only
All
repairs.
repairs to an existing dwelling that you own.
So I can get a loan to repair my house.
Possibly, if you're eligible. Huh?
My house needs repairs, so I can get a loan.
If you are eligible, our three basic eligibility requirements are income limits, credit history, and you have to show that you can repay the loan. So those are the three basic eligibility requirements. Of course, as they mentioned, there's no way to tell someone sitting here that you're eligible, but if you bring in the paperwork, as she mentioned, a pre-qualification, then we're able to say, based on this, if you do the short pre-qualification, it looks like you may be eligible, then you will move to the full application process. But you have to, just say for instance, what county do you live in? And you're talking about repairs, correct? How many people in the household? Okay, so for a family of two in DeShay County, your income cannot exceed $32,600 to be eligible. That's a year to be eligible for the repair program. Anyone. It's an income limit program. A family of two in DeShay County, $32,600. That's for the repair program. Now, is that what you applied for? Okay, so the income limit, your income limit cannot exceed $32,600.
Can you go over that?
No, you cannot. Not for the repair program, you can't.
I can't, you can't make over $32,000.
That's correct, a year. Household income. Mm-hmm.
You look like you probably was over there. That's right.
So if you were over that, then at that time, they should have sent you a letter that said you exceeded the income limit for the program. You probably wasn't, okay. Okay. Now, there are certain deductions that are taken from income, like the elderly households, $400. We can take up to 3% of annual income. We can take that from any medical expenses that you may pay out of pocket.
So I can't
you have to be 62 for a grant, and you have to be very low income. So if you're over $32,600, you're not considered very low income, and no, you will not be eligible for a grant. We can take up to 3% of annual income. We can take that from any medical expenses that you may pay out of pocket.
So I can't get no grant.
You have to be 62 for a grant, and you have to be very low income. So if you're not eligible for a grant.
What the rate is on lower than grant card?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Rate, the lower you can go, it has to be a grant.
For a family of 2 in Desha County, it's 32,600. Do you have a different county and family size?
No,
You can get a grant for that now?
No, sir, I'm sorry. No.
Well,
He said you talking about income.
no grant.
He said,
Oh, the grant amount is the limit is 10,000.
I know, but
no, we said,
that's the lower your income has to be,
Your income cannot exceed 32,600.
or the same.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm good for that.
Well, I got a mother-in-law, stay with me, but how about the three?
Same.
Same.
For a family of 1 to 4, it is the same, and then at a family of 5, it goes up to $43,050.
I'm not gonna go home.
How much get a trouble it is to get a grant for that?
Well, I would not say trouble. You do have to fill out the application and you have to be determined eligible. So there isn't any trouble.
Waiting period and stuff like that.
There isn't, well, you come in, you do the application, it'll be processed. And after it's processed, we'll kind of tell you based on your income, your debt load, what it shows you made. Now, you can repay a grant is not first. Every application, repair application is taken as a loan. The family has to show that they can repay a loan in order to be eligible for a grant. So if based on your income and your current debt load, it shows you cannot repay a loan, then that's when a grant kicks in. But if you can pay even, this is a 1% interest rate loan. So if you can even pay $10 a month, we have to give you a loan for a payment of $10 a month. And then maybe the rest can be a grant. But whatever it shows that you can repay, we have to do that in a loan. And then maybe whatever repairs you're needing, the grant can kick in for the rest. Kind of touched on it a little, and we've kind of touched on it a little, but we have what's called a single family housing direct home loan. And with the direct home loan, it offers mortgage financing to help eligible low and very low income applicants buy, build, or improve their home. The single family housing direct loan program does have what we call payment assistance. It's a temporary subsidy to help increase a borrower's repayment ability. So since we've already been talking about income limits, I'll jump to it because I know you're all wondering about that. So for a family of 2 in Desha County, your household income cannot exceed $52,150 a year. So it's a little higher, but it's $52,150 a year. Okay. So who can apply? Your adjusted income must be at or below the low income limit, what I just read out to you, $52,100 a year, and the property of the house must be located in a rural area. If you're wanting to construct a new home, it must also be located in a rural area. The land must be. We do have an income and property eligibility website where most of the time we have to use it though. We service 14 counties. Jefferson County is really the only county that has an exemption as far as the city of Honolulu. Every other area, McGehee, Duluth, Monticello, every other area does not have any exclusions or any restrictions. So everything in this county is eligible as far as being a rural area. Some of the other requirements are the family must be without decent, safe housing. We're not in the business of doing a second home or rental property. So it has to be strictly for the person, for the family, and they have to, if they already own a home, it has to be a house that doesn't meet their needs or isn't decent and safe. Be unable to get along with reasonable terms and conditions from other resources, which means we are really what's called a second resort lender, and that's why we cater to low and very low income applicants. So if you're someone that can go to the bank and obtain an FHA loan or conventional loan, then we would, probably wouldn't be your first stop. You must agree to live in the home as your primary residence, and of course meet U.S. citizenship or non-citizen requirements. Additionally, the properties must be considered modest for the area and not have a market value higher than the area loan limit. So the area loan limit for our area, and it's pretty high for this area. It's I didn't write it down. Oh yes, I did. $398,600. So that's pretty high for this area, but that's the max loan that a family can get. But it's also going to be based on your income and what you show you can repay. So everyone, of course, is not eligible for that maximum amount of $398,000. The interest rate right now is 4.375%. We have a fixed interest rate. It is not a floating rate or an adjustable rate. But what happens is the interest rate can go up, monthly. That's why I say right now it's 4.375%. But it can go up monthly. But whatever your interest rate is when you start the application, if it's right now 4.375% and it goes to 4% before closing, you get the lower interest rate.
So back earlier, you talking about the seniors, only one said 1% interest.
Okay, that was a different one. That's the 504 repair loan. It is a 1% interest rate. Now, this program does call what's called payment assistance. It does carry payment assistance. But what happens is your loan is still going to be 4.375%, okay? But based on the household's income, if it's a very low income family or low income family, they could be making a payment as low as 1%. Your loan interest rate is still 4.375%, but based on your income, you've been maybe making a payment as low as 1%. You get it?
Yeah.
So it's a subsidy. It's a payment assistance to help you make your full payment.
Okay, but it's nothing you can do to get your interest rate down lower than that.
No, sir. Lower than 4.375? No, and to be honest with you, our rate is usually lower than the bank rate.
Okay, that don't point.
By what point? No, we don't do that. That's pretty much in the standard banking industry. So if you're someone that can do that and use those kind of items to purchase home, you would probably need to go to a bank or another lending institution, credit union or something like that.
That's no business.
Yes, most of the time. No, we don't do anything like that with points and all that. So what are some other program terms? Down payments are typically not required. So that's one of the things that a lot of people, it really helps very low and low income families, is because we don't require a down payment. Our loans can be made for up to 100% of the appraised value. So if you're buying a house for $100,000, but it appraises for $110,000, we can go up to the $110,000 in order to include your closing costs. The only upfront cost usually, and I'm not going to say in all time, but usually the only upfront cost is your first year's homeowners insurance. Your first year's premium for your homeowners insurance. So that's usually the only cost, upfront cost. Unless your home does not appraise for enough and you do have to pay some of your closing costs.
That's not on new construction.
That's this program. So the one I'm talking about now is for new construction, for someone who wants to build a home, or for someone who wants to buy an existing home. Yes, it is. It's for new construction and someone who wants to buy an existing home. Even on new construction, you're going to have closing costs, and you're still going to have to pay your first year's insurance bill premium, because you're going to have what's called builder's risk insurance.
Yeah, I understand. What I was getting at, the appraised value of the house should cover, the appraised value should cover the price of your house.
Your appraised value will cover the house. That's not should, it will. We won't make a loan on a house where the appraisal is not over what it's cost to build it. But what I'm saying, yeah, correct. Yeah, but it was not should, it will. We won't make a loan on a home if the appraised value is not the price of the home. We won't do that. So what I'm talking about, like I said, and we know this is not realistic now. $100,000 to build a home, that's not realistic in this day and age with the cost of construction. So, but even at that, if you're building a home, you get that contract to give you an estimate on the amount to build that home, or you may be someone who also needs to purchase land. You have to keep that in mind. You got to build a home, purchase land, but of course, when the appraisal is done, it's going to be done as if, everything is together. And so, if that contractor charges you $100,000, if it appraises for $110,000, then you should have enough. But what we're really going to make sure is that it's going to at least have to appraise $100,000, no doubt. So the maximum loan amount depends on factors such as income, assets, debts, and the amount of paid assistance for which you are eligible. So that's why I mentioned that even though that maximum amount is $398, it depends on that family's income and debt load, how much they will be eligible for, okay? The interest rates are fixed, that's what I was just saying, and it's based on your current market rate at loan approval or closing, whichever is lower. The typical loan payback period is 33 years. And, typical industry payback period is 30 years. The reason why we go the extra 3 years is because that gives a very low or low income family just a little bit more time, a little bit more room to lower that payment. Of course, the more years you go, that's the lower the payment is. So it's kind of a thing that's added in. With payment assistance, a monthly mortgage payment can be reduced to as low as 1% interest rate. That's what I just explained. And one thing about the payment system, though, we make sure we tell this up front, you must repay all or part of any payment assistance you receive over the life of the loan when the property transfers title or you no longer live in the property. So that means that when you get that payment assistance, right, your interest rate is 4.375, but based on your family's income, you're paying a 1% payment. That's not a gift. The government is tracking how much you have received each month. If you want to sell that home, when you make the last payment on the home, or you no longer live in the dwelling, then that is the point when they calculate that payment assistance and say this is what you owe. There have been some pretty exorbitant amounts, okay? But what happens is they'll send you a package that asks you what improvements did you do to farm, you yourself. Any capital improvements and those kind of things in order to reduce that subsidy. But it is not a gift. It's to help that family to be able to make that payment at the time that they need it. Now, it's going to be reviewed every year, and when it gets to the point where that family income reaches where they can make their full no-break payment, then that's when the subsidy is cut and you're making your full payment at 4.375%.
So what you're saying is the note can go down, but it won't go up no higher.
It won't go up. It won't go up any higher than your interest rate of 4.375%. The only way it goes up is if your taxes increase or your insurance increase. And I know anyone who owns a home right now is experiencing that. Your principal and interest payment doesn't go up.
Right.
But if those taxes, because you do have to escrow your taxes and insurance with your payment, okay? So what happens is your principal and interest payment isn't going up. Your real estate taxes go up or your homeowner's insurance go up, and of course that'll make your payment go up. Mm-hmm. Okay? And how do you get started? So to get started with these applications that are on the page, you can contact any office. If you're in this area, you can contact the Monticello office, you can contact the Pine Bluff office, you can get an application, and we'll get started as far as seeing if you may be eligible, what your situation looks like. We have people all the time. They pull an in-file credit report. It may show that there's some issues. We do say this is what's required. We can't make you a loan at this time. Work on these issues and come back to us. And we have plenty of people that do that. There any other questions?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you own a home, can you borrow to get the home with that program?
You can also do repairs with this program, but it's a little more stringent, okay? So on the 504 repair loan program, we are trying to do things such as take away health and safety hazards of the dwelling, but it doesn't have to be brought up to what we call code. Let's just use that word, okay? Everything doesn't have to be perfect in the house, okay? But if you use this 502 repair loan, you're not going to get the 1% interest rate now. You're going to get the 4.375% interest rate. But the home has to have a home inspection. Each system of the home does have to be brought up to a certain level. Mm-hmm. That's correct. Everything. Anything, kitchen, bathroom, plumbing, there's a septic system, roof, floors, anything that a home repair might need. Windows, doors, anything.
Can the loans be refinanced? Let's say that you have 4.375, say around 4 point. Did you go back to RD for refinance?
No, not the RV. Yeah, that time, we have what's called graduation. And if you feel like at 4.375%, you can get a better rate somewhere else, then those families are asked to graduate from our loan and get funding from another lending institution. Okay, is that all the questions on the housing program? Okay, so we also have another housing program, I'm sorry, and it is for a higher income limit. And it is called our Single Family Housing Guarantee Loan Program. So if there is a family that you know that's wanting to purchase a home and their income is over $52,150 for a family of two in DeShay County, I did not bring those income limits, but they're pretty high. They're around probably, I would say about 90,000, somewhere in that range. So they can get what's called a guaranteed loan. But now that loan is not directly through our office. You would go to a lender for that USDA guaranteed loan. They would decide if they're going to make you the loan. And then after that, the lender is our customer at that time, not the applicant. So the applicant doesn't call us. The lender is our customer, and we guarantee that lender 90% of their money if the family were to default on that loan. It's a higher income limit. It's still no closing cost, no down payment, provided the appraised value of the home is enough. And it's still a very attractive loan because the only other loan out there that's 100% financing is like VA or something. You have to be a veteran to apply for that. So it's still a very attractive loan product, but you would go to a lender that does these loans. You'll tell them what you want, and then once they approve you, they send the application to us saying that we want to do this loan, and then we'll guarantee it. But it is a higher income limit. The other programs we also have our community facilities, direct loan and grant program. And with our community facilities loan and grant program, those are not for individuals. So this program is not for individuals. It is for counties, small towns, municipalities, even Indian reservations, federally recognized tribes. So this one is not for individuals. It's for, a lot of times you call from county judges, mayors, city council people. It's for towns. And what these, who may apply, like I said, public bodies, also community-based nonprofit organizations, also are eligible for these loans. And it still has to be in a rural area. The town or the city has to be 20,000 or less in population. The funds may be used to purchase, construct, and or improve essential community facilities, purchase equipment, and pay related project expenses. Examples are healthcare facilities such as hospitals, medical clinics, dental clinics, nursing homes, public facilities such as town halls, courthouses, airport hangars, street improvements, community support services such as child care centers, public safety such as fire trucks, police departments, police vehicles, utility services such as someone needs a medical clinic needs to do telemedicine or distance learning equipment. So we do, rural development is kind of like an agency. We say we can build a community from the ground up. So we got our housing, you got your land, and so now we're going to help the whole community that lives in that town. So with that being said, we also, if a city or a town needs a fire truck, they can come to us, they can complete an application and buy a fire truck, dump trucks, street improvements, police cars, anything like that it takes for a small town to run. But the applicant is the public body, the county, or a nonprofit. And what kind of funding is available? We have low interest direct loans and grants, or a combination of the two above. Now, in the last 2 farm bills, rural development did not get a lot of grant money for the community facilities program. So all we have right now are the direct loans. So we don't know what it's going to look like this year. They kind of indicated it may be the same. So grant money is not principal for this program like it used to be, but we do have the lowest rate direct loan. And the terms of that loan are 40 years or either the useful life of the property. So we say the useful life of the property because you're talking about sometimes equipment, like police cars, fire trucks, things like that, or any kind of equipment that a building might need. Like right now, we're doing one for the city of Hermitage. They need a generator for their city hall. So it's any kind of equipment that would help a small town be efficient and running. And we also have what's called water and waste disposal loan and grant program. And that is also limited to the city, towns, and municipalities. But what it does, if their town is having a problem with their drinking water, or they need repairs to their water tanks, or anything like that, then they can apply for those water and waste disposal loan and grant program. A town may need some work done to their sewer. So I'm not going to go into detail because of the fact it can get, kind of lengthy. And it's one of those things where, as you say, you need an application and you need to be able to go step by step to make sure. But I kind of wanted to give an overview in case you may be living in a town that you think need these improvements, and then you go to your city council person and tell them, hey, I heard about this. As he said, even if it doesn't apply to you, it may be someone that you know need it, or if your town needs it, you can't apply for it, but you give it to the people who can get started. And on the program, it does address business grant and loan programs. The programs I mentioned before are done locally in our area offices. The business and industry programs are done through our state office. So I'm just going to kind of give an overview. We have a business and industry loan guarantee. Again, a guarantee is not done directly in our office. It's started at a lender, and then what happens is rural development will guarantee. Once that lender said they wanted to do that business and industry loan, then we would guarantee the money. And so it can help for offer loan guarantees to lenders for their loans to rural businesses designed to assist credit-worthy rural businesses obtain immediate credit for most any legal business purpose. So that's one we have available under business. Also, we have what's called Rural Energy for America program. It provides guaranteed loan funding and grant funding to agricultural producers and rural small businesses for renewable energy systems or to make energy efficient improvements. Agricultural producers may also apply for new energy efficient equipment and new system loans for agricultural production and loan processing. So that's an overview of that one. If you're an agricultural producer that might kind of be interested in this, we will give our cards. You can call us, and we will definitely point you to the right person in the state office who does this program. So that's kind of an overview of what rural development had. I know it's quite a lot, but we do have quite a few programs that we work and we process through. So are there any questions?
What about the business when you talk about the business loan for there's a small business or any type of business?
Well, it's for small businesses.
What type of business? What type? Will it be a, and, if that, you don't have to be an agriculture, just like in stores or a store business or anything?
No, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I don't work this program, and it's not done in any of our area offices, done at our state office, but I'm pretty sure it has to be some kind of agricultural related business. But I can definitely take your name and information and ask that question and get back to you. I don't mind saying when I'm not familiar with something because I don't want to give out wrong information. So it's not a program that I work in today. I was just giving an overview. So like you said, if it's something that, you hear, you think you may be interested, I can ask those questions and then get you to the person who can definitely give you more direct information. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Marissa. And we just want to thank each and every one of the panelists today. Thank you for coming. I called and you came, and we appreciate it. Those of you are partners with USDA, and we try to reach those who don't know much about you, and so since they don't know you, we're going to bring the information to you. And for those that have heard what we do and what USDA has to offer, then you take it back to your community and you do the same. You say that it might not pertain to you today, but your sister, your brother, your mom, your family member that, need a home or, who has land and want to do something with it. So now that you know this information, let's help them do something about it. And so on behalf of Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation and our CEO, Dr. King, who isn't, present here today, but we have refreshment and you are so welcome with a snack, soda and water. So take it and enjoy it. And have a safe one going back home. Thank you. And please do the evaluation forms and the client intake forms that you received when you signed in. So that is it. Anything else that I'm missing? Okay, you're welcome to go. Just leave the evaluation form at the